Hey, Joanna, how are you?
I'm great, Lynn. How are you today?
Good. Hey, thanks for joining me. I really needed to do a video to talk to you because you are the most connected person I know in this industry. And I know students get so excited when they have a class with you. But I have some questions, and I thought the best place that the students can hear it from is somebody who's actually working in the industry. You've done the social media, you had a product, you have done it in this industry, and you're a teacher here at CSNN Edmonton. So, why don't you, first of all, tell people a little bit about yourself so that they really understand you are in the trenches?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm Joanna Brown. I've worn a couple of hats, Lynn, as you've said over the years. So I've worked in the health and wellness industry for now 20 years. So I'm going to date myself right out of the gate. After university, I started in very traditional healthcare, working here in Alberta with Alberta Health Services in the area of mental health. I looked at lots of different schools and I picked the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition here in Edmonton as my place to go back to school. I did that. I graduated in 2016, and within a couple of months after graduating, I launched Rejoice Nutrition and Wellness, and that is my nutrition company. It will be 8 years in a
Oh,
few months
wow.
here. So coming this fall is 8 years. I don't know where the time went. It's super exciting. And when I jumped out in the industry, at first I thought I was going to do the very traditional, I'm going to work with clients one-to-one around the nutrition, and that was kind of going to be it. But in the first year of my business, I just decided to lean into absolutely everything, give everything a try that I could. And it's amazing the opportunities that we have in this industry. And what I love, I will say one more thing about the industry, is there's no competition. And it's just the strangest thing because I've been in other industries before. There is no competition. The community and support and the cheerleading that happens with us as colleagues in our industry is something I've never seen before. We lift each other up. We'll do projects together. We'll always each other's
Yeah.
stuff. Like we're really cheerleading for all of us because when one of us does well, we all do well. It elevates our entire industry. And that's what we really want. We want everyone to realize the power of nutrition and just how they can make such an impact on their day-to-day life. And so when any of us are making a change, we're just really there for each other, which is why I love seeing new grads come in. I love watching what they're going to do in the
Yeah.
industry. So yeah, if you're interested, I would come in, join it. It's a pretty fun place to be. Always so passionate to talk to everyone about the potential, income streams that you can make, the different areas, the intersections between, government and grassroots community organizations, food writing, making a cookbook. There's just so many things, Lynn, that you can do. I'm excited we're having this conversation today.
Yeah, me too. Because I have to tell you, whenever I talk to potential students, it is hands down the number one question I get, right? Is like, what can I do with this particular certification? And I always say, look, there's a ton of things you can do with it, but it really depends on you. And then I go through all of the things. Some people don't want to go into that social media realm, and that's me too, because I,
I always love to say, at first, it depends on the why you want to enroll in this program. When I sit
Mhm.
and I speak with either students or alumni or other colleagues that have been in the industry for 10 years, it's the why, right? We all are driven by our own why. And often the reason why we're interested in signing up for the program or doing the program is our own health journey, right? Something along personally has happened
Mhm.
and we think, okay, I gotta change some things here. I gotta turn the tables. And it's nutrition and lifestyle and self-care and sleep and hydration. And we start pulling in all of these really sustainable habits and we see a transformational change within our own health. And we think, yeah, I want to share this. I want to help other people understand the power of food and
Mm-hmm.
nutrition and just simple habits that make a transformational change in our life. So often it's a personal journey. Sometimes I find it's also just that transition of career, right? A lot of people have had a career for a long period of time, and then maybe like, oh, I'm kind of over doing what I'm doing. Where do my passions lie? And my passions may lie, yes, with food, or maybe I love blogging, or I love creating a recipe, or my dream is to have some kind of cookbook, or maybe I love gardening and I want to teach other people about the power of sustainable agriculture and growing your own, vegetables. There's just so many things. So how do I take a personal passion I have and turn it into a new career?
So let's say they come to school. Now they have a diploma in their hand.
Yeah.
So now what? What are the areas that they can go into with that diploma? What are they going to do? What are some of the career choices that you see are really happening out there with grads?
Absolutely. When I love to talk about this, I like to talk about it as 5 particular areas or pillars, but I like to kind of make it clear that they're not separate. It's like a Venn diagram. There's overlaps, there's intersections between all of these ideas. So I love to talk about it as it relates to food as an area, products, so things that we're actually creating and we're selling, we're putting out onto the market, media, which has many, many opportunities within media itself, teaching, whether it's in a formal school or with your clients, there's lots of different ways that we can teach, and then community, so working in community with people. So I love to think about it in those 5 areas.
What do you see that is most common? Let's start there. What is the most common thing that people do when they write a book?
Food. We're foodies. We're such
True.
foodies, right? I love it when we get together with a group of, holistic nutrition practitioners. We always talk about food, or we're bringing food, or we bring snacks. Like we seem to love food. So I love to talk about food as a place to start. And I think what's really great with food is you can look at working in your practice, one-on-one with someone or with a family, and really helping them learn those very basic skills around food. And you can do that through one-to-one consultation. And I think what's really interesting right now in our industry with this landscape is food costs have increased, right? Food is expensive these days, and more people are really coming
Easy.
and saying, I need to learn how to, make that salad dressing that you said, Lynn, right?
Right?
Maybe some of that convenience food that a decade ago was really accessible and affordable to families, it isn't any longer, right? And so families are looking for ways to cook more at home versus going out to eat. That drive-through is more expensive and maybe not aligning with their own health journey. So helping families learn how to cook simple, easy meals, meal planning, grocery shopping, budgeting, it's a huge industry in itself. So if you have a passion for recipe creation and you want to get in the kitchen and teach people how to do that, you can do that one-to-one. I also know lots of practitioners that to offer that service, a kind of private chef, right? Going into people's homes, making weekly meal plans for them, stocking their fridge, right? People love doing that within people's kitchen. That is a great way of making some money. If you also love recipe creation, but you don't necessarily want to work one-to-one in that kind of traditional sense, aligning with a lot of restaurants. I was paid very, very well by a restaurant here in Edmonton. He's a great chef. He has a paleo restaurant, very, very successful. But he had a gym that approached him and said, you know what? We want to offer a 6-week program. Get fit. Our clients are going to pay for it through our gym. Our trainers are going to take them through the 6 weeks, but we want to add a nutritional element. We want our clients, to be able to come and pick up their weekly meal plan here with all the done for you foods. So can we collaborate with you as a restaurant? This chef is obviously a well-trained chef. He's been an executive chef for years, lots of knowledge. But he reached out to me and said, I can make food taste great, but I don't know how to align the macros and the nutrients and really
Oh,
making sure that this is a well-balanced plan. Like, I don't know what the protein is. Like, I make it taste great. You need to make it healthy, right? On a contract basis, I worked between the gym and with the chef, and I created the recipes and the meal plan. It was a one-time consultation. It was fantastic. They paid me really good, and that's still working. So that chef and that gym is still doing that. So what I would say with food, which we see, is food purchasing. So lots of consumers are going to their grocery store, and we're expecting a little more from our grocery store, which I love to see. So people are coming in and they want to see local products, healthy products on those shelves. So lots of our larger grocery stores here in Canada have made a commitment. Save on Foods is a great example, where when they started this initiative about 5 years ago, they were looking at getting about 10% of their products to be local producers, wherever that Save on Foods were. They now have it up to 20%, and they're looking at getting it up to 30, yeah, within the next couple of years. So to do that, they hire our grads to be a food purchaser. And this grad gets to go around and connect with local producers, local ranchers, right? And to look at what's the new product. So you get to walk around farmers markets, which is so much fun if you love farmers markets.
Okay, that's hard work, right?
It's hard work. It's so hard, right? Saturday, you grab your, green tea latte, you're walking the market, and you get to walk up and talk to new people that are, what is this? What are you doing? Well, I'm making water kefir. I'm making local kombucha. We had kombucha guys here that in Edmonton were making it out of they were actually bouncers at a bar, and when the bar was closed, they made kombucha in their commercial kitchen. It's the best kombucha ever. And they were just peddling it at farmers markets, and a purchaser came along, and now you can get their kombucha in all of the grocery stores, right? So it's so cool. So that's one. And then I would say our Sobeys, our Safeway brand, they're hiring our grads to go in and actually work in the grocery store.
So manage those wellness centers.
Yeah, manage the wellness centers. You get to sit there, you get to choose what products you're bringing in, and you get to work and consult with clients. So when customers are coming in, you're able to help them shop. And what's great is if you still want to have a bit of a private practice, Sobeys and Safeway allows you to do that. So you are able to give out your own business card and still be working within the grocery store. So neat from
So if that doesn't get them going,
if that doesn't tickle your fancy, I'd say products. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of intersections here. So food products, right? What I think is great is sometimes a lot of our grads see a hole on the market. So for me, at the time that I was practicing, bone broth was very much on trend. The bone broth diet by a particular doctor was on Oprah. And so it just was the thing at the time. And I was having clients consistently come to me, and they would say my chiropractor or my doctor's recommending bone broth, or I saw, this Oprah, I've got this book, I need to have some bone broth. Okay, can you tell me a little bit about it? Can you give me a recipe? And it's so simple. And I would give them a recipe, but then they would come back to me and say, oh, I'm so busy. Even though I put it all in a pot, can I buy it? And at the time, there was only one other bone broth company that was in Alberta, and it was really expensive. It wasn't very accessible. And a lot of my clients that were coming to me were struggling with ill health. And so if their chiropractor said, I'd love you to have 2 cups of bone broth a day, what was on the market was about 1.5 cups for $16. Well, no one is going to be able to afford that. So it made it where this very simple, very basic, but very trendy health product was not accessible to the masses. And so with another partner, we wanted to make that happen. So we worked with local producers to take the bones, which were just going to be waste anyways from our animal producers, and soft veggies that at the end of a farmer's market gets thrown away. So we wanted to reduce waste, and we wanted to convert what would be waste, all local organic products, grass-fed bones, all the things, and create this sustainable bone broth company and make it affordable. And we started doing it at farmers markets. People always wonder, how do you start to make a product line? you go to a farmer's market and you just start to sell it. That's where you start. And then momentum really takes off from there. We had a contract with the Cross Cancer Society here, because when you're in chemo, it's hard to eat. So our bone broth was being used that way. It was really great. When we got in grocery stores, it was exciting. So we started small at farmers markets, and then we grew. And there were so many other amazing products. And one grad in particular who I love to talk about every time I teach eco nutrition, like school. So if anyone who's going to go through school, you will probably hear this story.
I loved eco. Loved eco.
Right? Sat through that class and had a moment and said, wow, I don't want to do food. I just realized that we all wear cotton. My sheets are cotton. Everything is cotton. And I never thought about cotton and potential toxins. And she graduated from CSN Edmonton, went to India, where her family originally was spent years talking to farmers, and has created an organic, sustainable bedding line. She has been featured in magazines worldwide. She has received awards. She also, a lot of the money goes back to help women's education in India. All the farmers actually get a percentage. So she has fair trade, good farming designations. She did this from an inspired class at CSN. And she is like sleeping cotton all day long. Cotton's one of the highest GMO industries. I'm going to make a difference in the world. So I absolutely always love to talk about her and support her, but she's a great example where products don't have to be food. They can be absolutely anything. And that's what she does. She sells this beautiful bedding line, and she started at health and wellness shows here in Edmonton. And now, my goodness, she doesn't need to do that at all anymore. It's online big market. So lots of products. You can create your own. Very exciting. You also can align with an existing product that maybe you love and become a brand ambassador, right? A lot of people will do that. There is a particular grad that I know that did this very seamlessly. So for her, she had a lot of allergies and histamine related issues, a lot of skin issues. And she was really struggling with products that she could use. She just seemed to be allergic to kind of everything. And she was coaching clients one-to-one, but she felt all of her clients were asking for products. What detergent do you use? What air purifier do you use? What skincare? People kept asking. So she reached out to the brands that she trusted and became a brand ambassador and started talking about those brands as, trusted brands for her. She put them on her website, and she stopped doing one-to-one coaching because she was making so much money.
Oh, wow.
A brand ambassador, but she was a trusted name. She aligned with her why, because she had a personal story. It was very authentic. It resonated to people, and they loved coming to her. And she became this person you go to for green products. And every time people bought or used the link, she was just getting paid for that. And she loved giving those tools and resources. So being a brand ambassador is a great way of doing that. And another piece that I love to add, people don't think about, is food photography for product lines. There are so many people that graduate that either had a kind of previous life of photography or just love taking food photos. Again, we're foodies. I'm sure we go out for dinner. You're that one friend, right, that no one can eat until you take the pictures of your food. And if you love doing that, you are able to be paid quite well in order to do food photography.
Anyway, you can just see the passion is coming out in this video, and you and I could talk forever, but let's move on.
Yes.
What's next? So you made some products, you got some food. What is it?
Media. Let's talk about media, because media also intersects between both food and products for sure. So I want to talk about media. Podcasting. We'll start there. Podcasting. You can start a podcast today for as little as $54. You can host it for $6.99 a month. And podcasting is a great source of income. There are many people that love to start a podcast on a topic that they're really passionate about. So one grad I know in particular struggled with anxiety. And so her entire podcast is around nutrients, lifestyle, self-care, what you can do to naturally manage your anxiety day to day. And she'll bring on other guest speakers, and she just loves using this podcast. What the podcast does is it'll only bring her income, also because there's advertisements. You turn those advertisements on, you get paid for those advertisements. It's a bit of passive income, but it has established her as an expert. So because she has a podcast, because she's talking on one particular topic, this is where that intersection of teaching and community will come into play. She gets asked all the time to come and speak on stage, at large events, at retreats, for corporate wellness, because she's seen as that expert with anxiety. And she simply just started with a podcast, really simple and easy. So podcasting is a great tool within media. Blogging is back. So 15 years ago, blogging was kind of everything. It seemed to take a little bit of a backseat as social media kind of pushed forward. But now blogging has really come back. 2023, it was one of the pieces of media that had the largest consumer spike. So Google saw that it went right through the roof. And blogging is absolutely a way to make money. People will reach out to you. They'll ask you to either write a blog post for their existing blog. They will ask to pay you to attach a link from their website onto your existing blog as well. It's that cross blogging that helps both of your SEO and pays you. If you have advertisements on that blog, Google is going to cut you a check every month, which is also kind of nice to have. When I graduated, I don't know why, but I really wanted to be published. I don't know why it was this thing for me, but I was like, just really want to have something published. I'd never had anything published before. It was very, very scary, but it's one of those things that I said, you just have to kind of go for it. And when I teach, I always tell students, like, you just got to try. Like, you just don't know if you don't go for it. So I researched 30 magazines and I found their editor. I looked at the applications of what they were looking for, and I wrote a beautiful article, and I threw it out to 30 magazines. And I thought, and it was, of course, they would like to see your previous work. I was nobody. I had no previous work. And I was like, I just hope 7 of the 30 got back to me and were like, we would love to publish your article in magazines. Some were online virtual magazines, but some were hardcover. Veg News is a really big magazine. It's a vegetarian magazine, and they wanted to publish my thing. So I was so excited. I got to go to the grocery store and buy the magazine. I was like, there I am right there. So there I am. That's me. So good. So excited. And workshops are always great, virtually or in person. Speaking events, TED Talks, lunch and learns, corporate wellness. That's a whole area right now. And I can tell you, it is a buzzing area in our industry today. So over the last couple of years, it's been really hard on businesses, right? They're noticing that their employees are having longer stress leave. They're sick more often. There's more mental health crisis now in Canada than ever before. And so people are really leaning into their corporate wellness budget, and they're saying, please come and do a series and do a talk for our employees to help them reduce stress at work. What are some great snacks they can keep in their desk drawer, right? What are some ways that we can support anxiety, migraines? Like, I do a lot of corporate wellness speaking, and I have never been as busy as I am today, I tell you that. And it's all, super busy. And it's all around these kinds of topics, because the business itself wants to see reduction in sick time, reduction in leaves, and just better employee retention rate. So you can go in, customize something, create something that's really, healthy living, healthy lifestyle, holistic habits. Businesses are so excited to work with you. So that's a really busy one. Absolutely.
What else? I mean, you have so many different ideas.
The last one. It's the last one, number 5.
Okay.
Is community. And I love this area because I think it often is one that we don't think about. And I can tell you that when I teach, when I'm sitting with students, we get to the community, and when I begin to talk about this section, everybody in the room lights up. Because when we talk about our why and our heart center, we're often usually connected to some element of this section, and it blows people's minds. I didn't even think I could do that. So community, I love to say first, not for profit. People have a misconception that not for profit means no money. That could not be farther from the truth. I'm an executive director of an Alberta Health Service not-for-profit company for 16 years now, I can tell you that is not the truth. I've hired our grads to actually come in and do wellness workshops with my staff at that company.
Nice. I think a lot of our grads would agree with this statement. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you are passionate about health, if you're passionate about wellness or any of the areas, food, any of the areas we talked about, there's just so much opportunity in this industry. And I love our industry.